Okay guys, we're going to take a look at these things. These are not tasers, these are our portable audio recorders. This is the Tascam model, and to do our microphone testing or other recordings, let's take a look at the functions and how to work this. A couple of things we're going to need for this are a recorder, an XLR cable, and a microphone. So first, to turn this on, find the home button right here, press and hold for a few seconds, and there it will pop up, and it takes it a second to boot up. On the side, there's this hold button. If that switch got moved over to hold, it locks all the controls so that during recording we don't accidentally turn anything off, but it'll prevent it from turning on. So check that if it doesn't turn on. We know we are on when we have this little readout here on the screen. You can take a look on the very bottom here. It says Tascam and a number. That means that there are some files on the chip. If there are no files, it would say no files. When we get this, we are in stopped mode. This here has two built-in microphones. When they are in this configuration, the one here on, well, this is my left, is actually recording the right side. The one on the right is actually recording the left side. So we can have a stereo recording. But stereo is actually two single mono channels. So we can consider it left and right. We can consider it channels 1 and 2. This is great if I'm doing an interview. I can go back and forth. If I'm recording maybe there's a band at a coffee shop or something a little bit larger, the choir singing, I can move these open and I can get a wider array of sounds. And this is called the AB configuration. When I put these in, we call it the XY configuration. This is a 4-track recorder, so we can actually record 4 different tracks on here. But our purposes, we're really only going to be recording 2 at any one time. Additionally, we can put external microphones into these 2 switches here. So this is where we're going to need an XLR cable. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's first set this up to accept an input into these bottom connectors. To do that, I'm going to go into record mode. It's this button right here. When we push that, you'll see we have record mode, mono, and source interior microphone. So that is these microphones right here. Using the keypad, you can see that record mode is highlighted. If I slide it over, now mono is highlighted, and I can use the plus and minus button to change my settings. So now I'm in stereo mode, so both channels. Dual mode is a stereo mode that does 2 recordings of the same thing, one at a higher recording level and one at a lower recording level. That way we have a backup in case we do what's called clipping. That's when we get too loud and overmodulate the recording. We'll do that sometimes when we are recording our studio work. For now, actually, we're going to want to be in mono mode, but we're probably going to have to come back to that because when I scroll down to the source, I need to change this source into, let's see, move it up and down, exterior in 1 would be a great way. Other options are, when I'm in mono mode, that's it, exterior in 1. So let's make sure that we are in exterior in 1. Once I've got that, I can hit the home button to come out of that. So now these microphones will not pick anything up. If I go into record mode, nothing will be recorded. That's when I need to have this XLR cable. This is a short XLR cable. Pop this open. An XLR cable, you can tell the type, is the typical microphone cable. It has 3 pins and 3 holes. The one with the 3 pins is considered the male end. The one with the 3 holes is considered the female end. I'll leave that to your imagination why that is true, but that is how it is called in the industry. All of my cables have or should have this Velcro band on them to help keep them coiled up, neat, and orderly. All right, so simply unwind it, but please notice that the Velcro band does stay on it. There's a little hole, a little tab that it goes through, and just leave that on the cable. Do not remove the Velcro tab. All right. On the bottom of the Tascam audio recorder are our connections. When we are doing exterior in 1, you have to be in the left connection. It's the only one that will be functioning. Notice on my cable there is a little, let's see if I turn it right there, there's a little hole there, a little notch, and that's designed to work with this, and it's a locking mechanism. So when I push it in, listen for the click, it's clicked and now it won't pull out. You don't want a cable to pull out in the middle of an interview. Okay. On the other end of our cable, we'll take a microphone. So I have my dynamic ENG, or electronic news gathering mic is what I call it. Just simply turn it until it slides in and make sure it clicks and locks in. Give it a little tug to make sure it's in tightly. When you tug it, don't tug on the cable, tug on the housing. All right. So I have my cable, and I have my microphone, and I have my recorder. So let's talk about how to get this into a recording mode. So when I press the record button, you'll see that there's a red light is blinking. Now I am in record pause mode. While I'm in record pause, it's not recording, but it is receiving an input. Here is where I want to set my recording level. The recording level is how much amplification it gives the microphone, or it actually amplifies the signal from the microphone. And that in turn will change the sensitivity of it. So the higher the recording level, the more noise it will pick up, the more sensitive the mic will be. In a quiet room, you can have a pretty high recording level. Now, what I'm going to be looking at is this bouncing bar right here. And as I move this closer to my mouth, you'll see that that bar gets a little bit higher and higher. All right. Right underneath these zeros, there is a little arrow, a little triangle pointing down. Our ideal recording level is that bar is going to bop right just at and above that little arrow. So I have this microphone right close to my mouth, and you can see I got to get it pretty close in order to get a decent recording level. In fact, I'm still a little low. So on the side of the unit, just turn it over to the side, it says input level right here, and it's designed so you can use it one-handed. There's a plus and a minus, and I'm just going to click on the plus a few times, and you see at the bottom of the screen there, it says interior level 1 in, and as I keep tapping that line goes up, and you also see that the sensitivity of the mic is going up. It's bopping up higher and higher. Now I want to get them in a fairly quiet room, and now it's getting too high. We're doing what's called clipping, and it's hitting at the very end. You see that little block at the end appearing. That's not a good situation. So I can actually move the mic now further away from me. And an ideal situation in a quiet room is about 5 fingers. If I'm doing an interview, then I can move the mic back and forth and keep about 5 fingers or a palm width away. And if you're interviewing someone, it's not like you're sticking that mic right in their face. It's kind of intimidating to someone you're interviewing.